Did we ever pick out
a kangaroo?
I am a kangaroo. Gotta look at my calendar real fast. All right, well, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. Is there anyone here tonight for their first time by raise of hands? What's your name and how'd you hear about us?
Sione Inoke. Heard about it from Lou.
Awesome, well, welcome. Let's see. Next, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, February 26th, we're going to try doing, I shouldn't say try, we are going to be doing the No One Left Behind run that's starting up at Highland Glen Park, running out 3.1 miles and running back. It's just a little test trial that we're going to be doing that we want to invite everybody on the team to come out and participate in. And we would like you guys to be in groups of 2 to 3 people. And the key part about this run is you're going to be out there, you're going to be running with each other. You cannot finish without your team. If one of your teammates do decide to drop out, please let us know. And they're still going to have to walk back to their car because we ain't going to be able to go get them. So just finish together. It's short. There will also be just the 5K option where you run out 1.5 miles and you run back 1.5 miles. And honestly, did we ever pick out a March run?
I saw an ad for the Coops for Cancer one. I think it's like the Rex Lee one that is in March.
We've done that one before.
I saw an ad for that, so that's one we could keep an eye on.
You know, if you'd like to, let's
follow
just plan on doing that
tonight and see the date and stuff.
Get to run up the hill at BYU.
Yeah.
We'll continue to run down the hill.
That's good.
And we have also started our 75-day soft challenge, our little fitness challenge that we are doing. So we were.
Tell David Goggins.
I'm just Googling the internet. I didn't come up with it.
Why, Jed? What is a 75 soft? What is that?
You're on the.
Earl, tell it.
Yeah.
You know what it is, right?
Basically, spend the next 75 days trying to be 90% accurate with drinking half your body weight in water, or in ounces of water, eating healthy, and that just depends on what you're choosing to do, whether it's keto or eating regular food, but just tracking your calories or whatever it is. 5 minutes or more of meditation, 10 minutes or more of listening to or reading something that's inspirational or motivating, and then 45 or 30? 30 minutes of exercise 4 days a week. So it's not every day you have to do something. It's not every day you have to be perfect. It's bettering yourself slowly through a process that we all can do together.
If anybody would like to join that page, please jump on the Addict Athlete home base page. You can find the link on there and request to join the group. After today, I will be deleting that link, and in 75 days, we'll open it back up for those of you that want to do the 75 hard challenge with us. We are just taking a very slow approach at doing it. So, I don't have any other announcements. Liz, do you?
I just see Salt Lake County makes Friday 6 p.m. Turning Point.
Christy, do you got any?
May 7th, Provo half
City Half
marathon. Sign up for that.
The 11-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Running clinic is Saturday at 11 at the Orem Community Park. So feel free to come, walk, run, talk. It's a good way to get to know each other.
Awesome. All right. So before we get started, I should tell you guys some cool things happened to Addict to Athlete. And I haven't really talked about it yet because it's still kind of new, and I'm afraid I'm going to jinx it. I think I told you guys that we were able to secure a grant. It was the very first time we've ever been able to do that, and so it's pretty significant. which means that we're going to be able to increase a lot of the stuff that we have been doing. We're going to be putting on the official No Man Left Behind race. That's going to be in, is it August? Where we're going to be inviting like a bunch of public too. It won't just be Addict Athlete, it'll be community based. We're hoping that this will eventually become kind of a fundraising race, much like our 5K, but that way we can keep our 5K hopefully low budget or free. The No Man Left Behind race will be kind of like the whole same kind of proxy thing with running in for those who have lost their battle. I am seriously flirting with the idea of taking anyone who's interested, probably this end of August, sometime in September, to Connecticut, Sanford, Connecticut, and putting on a run, a proxy run, in front of the Sackler pharmaceutical company. You guys know the Sackler family was instrumental in killing millions of people. So I thought, what better thing than to do a proxy run with all of the East Coast and going out there and setting up shop in front of their place as we do a little run/walk of silence in front of their building. It's going to cause a lot of controversy, obviously, and that's one of the things we want, to bring eyes, more awareness. So that's hopefully going to be this late summer, possibly fall. If you want to join us, let us know, because this will be kind of a rub some salt in some wounds. Like, we've lost a lot of people to this. It doesn't matter what form of addiction we have, either it's gambling, overeating, the sex addictions, chemical dependency, it ruins lives. And I can think of no better way to bridge gaps. So we're going to start opening more chapters of Team Addict Athlete throughout the country to get boots on the ground. We have, I can't remember his name in New York. He's going to kill me. We have a New York coach. We're going to be able to help maybe instrumental in setting that up. So there'll be some neat stuff coming up. So the grant will also provide some media outlets. There's a possibility we'll have media coming here to film. So you guys know that we're not an anonymous program. So if anyone really is nervous about being on camera, just hide behind a ball back there or something. I don't know. Yeah, hide behind Jed. Today, before we do our workout, I want to share something with you. Today on the Agents of Recovery, as I was recording with Max and Brock, we started talking about some basic principle. And sometimes I forget that we've been doing this for so long, I almost forget that like we still have new people that tune in, that come to the meetings, and there's still kind of a little bit of learning curve. And Max was saying, look, my aunt who listens to this podcast religiously, she's wondering about what a trigger is and all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, it's so beneath me. Of course I know what triggers are, right? But then I got thinking, we don't talk about a lot of that stuff, but we really should, because there's the foundational aspects of some of this stuff you guys got to know. But as we were talking about it, it reminded me of this process. It's kind of a crazy thing. When we get into triggers, I don't think Ian will care if I erase this, because we'll write something else up there. When you guys think about triggers, I'm curious, what do you think? Like any kind of trigger that's going to connect you to your addiction, drug of choice, doesn't matter again if it's chemical dependency, pornography, overeating, shoot, you're here for exercising too much, right? So that's why I'm here. Just kidding. What's a trigger? Anybody? What are they? Yeah. Okay, locations. Right. That does say trigger, I promise. What else? Locations. What do you mean locations? How could a location be a trigger? I've set you up so many times. I didn't even realize it. Remember? I said, meet me at the corner of this and this. And then you show up and you're like, oh, this is a great place, Blue. Huh. So how can a location be a trigger? Events that happened in the past? Absolutely. What other? More triggers? Songs are big ones. You guys know what the number one trigger is? Smells. Why is that?
It's like the olfactory sense.
The olfactory sensory. Yeah, it is
Just
big.
like it is very linked to memory in the brain, and
Probably how people survived our ancestors survived by, I smell the animals around, I need to hide, or I smell them, I need to hunt,
Absolutely.
Anticipatory highs, gets you going, thinking that you're gonna feel something good, and then you don't feel it, and you just start craving it.
Absolutely. So triggers. Can you identify all of them? No. Why?
Some you don't even know.
Some people don't even realize that. I remember when I was working with youth years and years and years ago, I was working with this kid, and he had the most amazing relapse prevention plan. It was his first time going home. He lived in Southern California. He's like, Blue, this is what I'm doing. This is all people are going to call. If I get triggered, this is all my plan. My parents are signing this. It was top notch. You know those, right? You've been a part of them. And he got, I mean, it was locked tight. He goes home. That night, I get a call from his parents. Blue, he's relapsed. I'm like, dude, you've only been there for like 3 hours. I call him on the phone. I'm like, what happened? And he's like, I had everything. He's like, but I didn't plan for what the airport smelt like. I'm like, what? He's like, the air here, it's like humid. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. California, Southern California, that humidity in the air, it's different, right? It smells like the ocean, smells like the beach. Probably in LAX, there's probably a lot of other creepy things. But I didn't anticipate the air I breathe, and it just got him spinning. He landed at night, that smell, that atmosphere, the lights, the city. He said, Mom, I'm going to go down and say hi to a friend so-and-so, and he went the other direction and went guy. It's the craziest thing, right? You cannot plan for every trigger. I don't care what it is. If it's a sexual addiction, how do you plan for that? If it's overeating, how do you plan for that? There are so many different aspects to a trigger, to each his own. So what happens next? After you have a trigger, comes something. You know what it is? Thoughts. You guys know that you're triggered now. Your brain starts rolling. Start thinking about stuff, right? How much time do you guys spend in this than you do in this? Because after that comes this, fun one. Feelings. Sometimes we skip past thoughts and go right to feelings. Did you ever known that? You have a trigger, something smells good, you're like, man, I'm going to get something to eat. And because that feeling's like, it's a craving, right? I gotta fix this craving. Why do we jump over thoughts so much? It is a huge part of this. You've heard me talk about this a million times. I'm looking at you, Kenny. A million times, man. Just kidding. Yeah. Well, first of all, you could talk yourself out of it. But we don't think as much as we feel. And our society's kind of pushed us into that corner, which is kind of funny. I could say, I think the President of the United States is the world's worst president. You say, I think he's the best. And now we're debating, right? But if I say, Kenny, I feel that he's the best president we've ever had, and you're like, I feel he's not. We can't argue with that. Why?
You can't debate how somebody else feels.
Absolutely. Is that a feeling if I'm like, I feel that he's the best? It's a thought. So why do we default to feelings? Because we don't want to debate. So if we jump over the thought process and go right to feelings, well, trigger, I feel like I want to use, sorry, Ian, I feel like I want to use, I feel like I'm going to relapse, I feel like I want to have this void filled with something, pleasurable. But we stop right here. After the feelings, guess what happens then? Actions, then behaviors. Oops, I lied to you, sorry. Behaviors, and then actions. What kind of, BX is like a behavior, it's like shorthand, Kenny, if you're wondering. Action, and then the consequence, okay? That's called the behavior chain. That's how it works. You have a trigger. You go through thoughts. Your thoughts may be rapid. You have feelings about those thoughts. Those feelings create a behavior, okay? After the behavior comes an action, and after the action comes the consequence. Where do you stop? Where do you stop the relapse process? Where do you cut it right off at the head? Thoughts. Who says thoughts? Why? Why thoughts? Why is this the stopping point? Absolutely. This is the hard part, though, right? Has anybody thought themselves out of a relapse? Or usually it's like full throttle go. We got to slow down the thinking. We jump over that because, well, why? Yeah?
It's easier.
It's easier. It's so much easier to feel. Because you're like, wait a minute, whoa, slow it down. If I play this tape all the way through and I'm thinking correctly, I'm going to get busted for this. I'm going to have to lie to my wife about that. were talking about this morning on the podcast, and I highly recommend you guys listen to this on Friday because we get kind of deep with it. Max was talking about a time that he was triggered. He was starting to search his whole car for a pill, started tearing out his seats and everything, trying to find a pill that never existed there. And he's like, I thought for sure it was there. And he's like, I got home at 11 p.m. at night, and I didn't stop until the sun was coming up. Ouch. He's like, I jumped over thoughts. The behaviors, okay? Behaviors suck. Tell me, you guys know what a behavior is in a relapse-centered mind? Behaviors, what are they? Max did a perfect explanation when he said that. His feeling was like, man, I hurt, I need this, I'm gonna get sick tomorrow, I gotta find this. So the behavior was to do what? Yeah, follow through, start like getting down in here and looking, right? What? Carpet surfing, I like that, yeah. Those are behaviors. Typically, this is where your family will start seeing something wrong with you. Behaviors, how come? How come this is the easiest thing to see in a family system that knows that you're struggling? They've seen it before. It's a pattern, absolutely. Like, wait a second, I don't see you pacing like this, licking your lips and rubbing your head unless you're on something. Like, no, man, this is totally normal. I'm totally fine. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. This is also why most treatment programs fail, is because where do they go? They want to change your behavior. So if they change your behavior and they get compliance, especially, youth treatment, if they can change the behavior, they can say, look, your kid's fine, go home. The kid goes home, gets put back in the same environment, what happens? Why? Because there's not 15 staff there ready to pounce on him if he acts up. Behavior modification programs don't work. I realized that early on in my work with people in addictions. I couldn't convince them to be clean by helping them change their behaviors. If you truly want to change your world, you've got to change your thinking. Once you hit the action stage, that's computer on, that's line drawn, that's alcohol popped. The action is following through with whatever it is you're doing, and we all know what the consequence is. What's the consequence? Guilt, right? Relapse, jail, family problems. Absolutely. This is the most simple thing in addiction recovery right there. I've just solved addiction for you guys right there. You all owe me $1,000. So think about that. Because this also is the antidote for success, is it not? Look at that. A trigger. All of you guys came here tonight because of some kind of compulsion, some kind of trigger. Like, I want to go here. I want to be accountable. I want to work out. I want to meet the team. I want to do something different. I want to break a cycle. Because you were triggered by something. Your thought was, I don't know. This is going to be, I'm still kind of impressed that you keep coming back because you're like, you're rolling here by yourself, right? And it's like, all right, well, my thoughts are, these guys all have commonalities. I don't know what they're using or what their drug of choice is or what they've been doing, but the feelings I get here are positive. Therefore, my behaviors are, I'm going to turn myself into an athlete by showing up. I'm going to join a team despite a lot of other things out there that may frown against me rubbing shoulders with people that are in addiction, right? The actions, what are the actions? We come here, we learn, we work out, we go out there, and we return and report. Come back, hey coach, I made it, or I didn't make it. And the consequence, what is the consequence for doing something like this? Learning, sobriety, teamwork, absolutely. So the same thing that could actually be your instrument to failure can be your instrument to success. But it pivots on that one point of interest, your thoughts. Remember last week, your greatest struggle, right? It's your resistance to what is that's causing your suffering. Where do you think that lives? In your thoughts. How many of you guys have walked in here and like, well, I'll come, but I'm not really an athlete, so I don't know what that's about. You laugh at Rosalie. Yeah? You're like, I saw a sticker on the back of a car. Hey, I'm coming. You guys should share that sometime. Cheryl has an awesome story about how she found the team damn near, 11, 10 years ago. You were like pretty much there too, right? 9 years ago? Sweet. That's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It all pivots on that. So if you don't call yourself an athlete, that's fine. But that doesn't, being an athlete doesn't mean you have to go out there and win a gold medal. You guys watch Shaun White? That was pretty powerful, huh? That was hard to watch. Did you hear his interview afterwards? Have anybody seen Shaun White's interview after? You guys know who Shaun White is, right? Olympic snowboarder. He was in China for the Olympics. He was, he's medaled every time, except this one. And he's like, he was up there, and it was all he had. And he's like, I couldn't do it. I gave it my all. It was pretty hard to watch. But I loved it, though, because he didn't stay in his head. Is he a nobody because he's coming home from his first Olympics without a medal? Absolutely not. This makes or breaks you. You guys don't know how powerful this is. That core issue that's inside of you, that's what's driving these things. See, me growing up, mine was neglect. I had parents that could give a crap if I was alive or dead. I had, brothers and sisters using substances. We moved every time the rent was due. There was no stability for me. So my thoughts about my core issue, which was neglect, was I must have done something to deserve this. I must be unlovable. Now, you think about that and other thoughts, what kind of feelings does that create? Contempt, sadness, anger, depression, unloved. All these feelings from what I thought. And when I convinced myself that it was true, guess what took all that away? Drugs, substances, alcohol, methamphetamine, marijuana, all that stuff, took it all away. And my behaviors were that way, my actions showed that, and my consequences, thank heavens, weren't severe because for some grace of God, I flew under the radar until I woke up. Your thoughts become your things. It's what you think about, you bring about. You've heard this. It's not an old principle. So if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, correct? Like Max always says that too. It's funny when I do a podcast with Max, he always brings up that Henry Ford quote. If you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. And he says it every time like it's something new. I'm like, Max, dude, you said that 9 times. I love it. But it's very true, is it not? So how do we help change your thinking? What's something that you can leave here tonight to prove yourself wrong? You're going to leave something here in the gym tonight. You've thought about yourself. We be here all night long. I got the code to the door.
So I started it, I think around between 5th and 6th grade, I gained about 100 pounds and I grew a foot. So I went up and out. And basically, ever since then, I've as high as over 400 pounds, as low as 250, and everywhere in between, up and down. So that's my first thought, like with this challenge, with the race I want to do with Kenny and the team is I'm probably not going to make it. I'm probably not going to be able to lose the weight. Then I'm not going to be able to run. I'm going to fail. So why even try?
Why try?
Self-confidence. Daily have to sort of talk myself.
Gotcha. That's a hard one too, because you think you've got proof, right? I've done it before and it hasn't worked. Done it before and it hasn't worked. So therefore, it's become your truth. You're gonna leave that tonight. We don't want to ever hear that again after this. I'm an athlete. I'm a runner. I'm going to finish this race.
Or you've done it and it has worked and then you relapse.
So then you know what to do. I find it super amazing when people can make millions of dollars, lose it all, and then make it again. I'm like, I still haven't made my first million. How is that, you guys? How can someone make $1 million, lose it all, and then do it again? Because they know how to do it. Absolutely. I don't know how to make $1 million. Yes, I do. I'm sure I could do it. But why haven't I done it yet? Well, I got to find someone that has, right? So I got a good idea. You got to find someone that's done it, correct? And then they teach you their words of wisdom and you mimic that. And then you get your parts, their parts, and other parts, and pretty soon you've got this amazing plan. That sounds easy, but it's not. You got to be willing to sacrifice, right? I mean, I could make $1 million. I'd have to sacrifice a lot, but I think I could do it. Should we try it?
Try to
We
make
should
$1
try.
million?
Sure.
All
All right. Hey, we're gonna do it. What else? I want to know other things you're gonna leave here tonight. These thoughts. As soon as we're done with this, we're working out. What are you leaving here tonight?
Excuses.
I like that. Why?
My feet always hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, always. But
Legitimately.
I
I watched you, do your half marathon where you're like crawling almost at the end.
Yeah, my feet. I mean, they hurt, and I think I tend to use it as an excuse not to do things. But I can't let it stop me anymore.
Okay, we all heard it. Witness. Right now, you're all being triggered. Every one of you right now. Because all of you have something in your head. I know you do. But you're like, I don't want to say that out loud. Or maybe mine's not as good as Krista's. Or maybe mine's not as good as Kenny's or whatever. All of you guys are being triggered right now. Every one of you. Some of you are thinking it's too damn hard. I don't think I can do it. I've tried in the past and I've failed. All of you have some kind of sobriety under your belt right now. Whether it's 24 hours or maybe it's 10 years. Jed, how long? I just crossed 26 years of sobriety. I don't talk about it because I don't think it's that big of a thing. Mercy's like, you should post about it. I'm like, no, it's dumb. We don't count days. Except Liz. Liz like, hey, Blue, what's this? That was pretty cool, Liz. Thank you. The reason why is because we don't, on this team, obviously, we don't count days. We count change. Does that mean I'm free, Jed? No. I still have thoughts. There's times when my heart gets so heavy that I'm like, man, wouldn't it be nice if? And I catch it at the thought. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens occasionally. I was working with one of our athletes yesterday. Some of you guys know her. She came in and she's needed to come in like about 100 times. And her story wrecked me, man. It was rough. You guys know. She witnessed her grandchild be run over. And I did some EMDR with her. So she has to kind of relive some of that. And as she's telling me this stuff, I'm thinking, I am not qualified to do this. Her pain's way too significant. And as we're processing this stuff and she's letting go of that negative thought about herself, that I'm not fast enough, I'm not good enough. Why me? She replaced it with, I can react during crisis. I can stay sober during difficult times. I'm stronger than I think I am. Because if she's processing that and I'm living my ultimate trauma threshold, and she sat down on the couch at my office and she's like, Coach, I'm living my trauma threshold. That was hard, you guys. So if she can sit there and work on that to leave the office knowing that she did all she can, and in those final moments of this little boy's life, she held him so that he wasn't alone. How in the world would you qualify that as weakness? How in the world would she qualify that as helpless? Because we're our thoughts. What we think about, we become. I think I said this on one of my videos the other day. You're on a mountain bike and your eyes drip to the side. Where's your mountain bike going? Has anybody ever done that? It sucks, man. You start looking at the steep cliff and pretty much you're going over there. So same thing with your head. Don't let the thoughts rule the rest of the chain. Get rid of it. I'm going to say this one last time. If you want to change your world, you've got to change your thinking. You're not addicts in here. What are you? Champions. Your fathers, your mothers, your coaches, your friends, you are acquaintances. your inspirations. You're not addicts in here. It's a part of you. It's not who you are. And I don't care what you're battling. I don't care if it's heroin, if it's caffeine, Dunkin' Donuts, pornography, gambling, shopping. I don't care what it is. It's not stronger than you. Unless you allow it to be by allowing your thoughts to dictate everything else. It's a hard thing, though. I got it. Final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, epiphanies, requests.
I'm great at dumbing myself down. What's that? I'm great at dumbing myself down. One, because I can get out of a lot of things by doing it. Two, because I don't feel that I'm smart enough sometimes because I cannot come up with it right off the top of my mind like most people do, but I'm great at problem solving. You give me a second, I can tell you how to do almost anything. I can tell you how to build this building if I wanted to. It may not come to me as fast as most others, but I know that it's there, and I'm great at using that as an excuse and hold myself back from doing more. It's something that I do need to work on, and that's that. Now it's out in the public. Now it's out in the open. So now I got to do it. Anybody else want to share theirs before we're done?
There's several things that I've been avoiding and talking myself down from doing that I think and feel like I need to or should do. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to do those things tonight and take care of those things that I need to take care of that are threatening me in my life.
Athletes, who am I?
I'm a champion.
Stephanie Warren, I miss you.
Awesome. All right, let's move these boxes back over here, those benches over there, and we'll get rocking and rolling.